A lot of us really struggle starting a business. Like if you're especially in a full-time position and then you want to switch to starting your business, you're always thinking about how to start a business. So you want to take it one step forward.
Right.
Or think through one step forward, wherein you already started your business. Just imagine you already started your business. How would you get your first three clients?
Yeah, that's great.
That's the topic.
Yeah.
How will you get your first three clients? Because first client might be your mom or your sister.
Moms, they love you, right? They're going to be there through thick and thin, no matter what.
Yeah. So they might be your first one or the second client, but the first three clients is what we really want to talk about. I want to hear your story.
Yeah. So, well, I think this is really important because tell me if you had this experience with my business. My first clients were within my sphere of influence, and it was people that were really close to me, that knew me, that trusted me. In a way, they knew that I was brand new, right? Because they'd been a part of my life, and they were more than anything just being supportive. And then it grew from there, and then we developed clients that I wasn't aware of, and we did marketing and stuff like that, and we'll talk about that at a later time. But for me, my initial clients were those who were closest to me, friends and family. What about you? Was that the same thing with your business, or?
It was similar. Basically, my first clients were somebody that who saw my growth and who kind of respected me for where I've been.
Oh, I love it.
And they exactly know that I'm going to do a good job
right.
for them based on the historical experiences that they had with me and my career.
So this person knew that you were brand new to whatever that transaction was, but they were willing to take a gamble on you. Not a gamble, but they're willing to go into it with you because they're like, hey, I know how you've acted previously. I really appreciate this relationship we have, and I want to support you in this new thing that you're doing.
That's exactly right. The people who are going to support us are the people who kind of know us a little bit.
Yeah.
So your first and easiest, we call them low-hanging fruit, right?
Yeah.
Low-hanging fruit are people that are within your sphere of influence. They call it the SOI. So the SOIs are so significant, especially if you are getting into service-based industry, if you are into real estate, financial planners, CPAs, accountants, all of these categories.
Anything that's
insurance agents, relationship-based, 100%. Sphere of influence is the first and foremost. That will become a foundation, right?
Right.
From there, the referrals explode.
Right. We're going to talk about referrals in another video. So let's actually dive into this sphere of influence. So let's imagine that you're a business owner and we're brand new, we're just getting started. We put together the Facebook page, the Instagram page, website's up. How do you approach that sphere of influence? Well, maybe, how did you get that first client? Like, maybe tell us that story.
So the first thing is you have to be, you cannot be like a secret agent, right? You cannot be secretive about what your goal is.
Right.
To your sphere of influence, you have to publicly announce what you're up to.
Yeah, so friends and family, you have to say, hey, this is what I'm doing and I want to be successful at it. Here's how you either buy or hire me.
Yes, and all that comes with confidence, right? Confidence in where you're going. Taking a couple of steps back, how do you gain your confidence is where we have to work on first. Because unless you're confident about your goal and where you want to see yourself in the next 4 or 5 years, you'll not have that confidence. Once you are confident, then you'll be able to talk to people freely.
Oh, it's easy at that point. So what was it that you did specifically to help, like how did you let this person know that you were getting into a new industry, leaving Intel and getting into
so that time I was at Intel working, and this person totally knew me from working at Intel.
Yeah.
And I clearly communicated that I have a license and now I'm quitting Intel, I'm resigning Intel, I'm going to pursue this full time. So he was like, oh, I'm looking to buy a home. Can you help me? So in fact, they offered to help.
Really?
They offered to become my client. So kind of volunteering on their side, because I was able to publish myself saying that this is what I'm doing. This is where I see myself growing.
So when you did that, you didn't know that this person was looking.
No, I did not know. Yes.
Okay, so that's the first thing, right? Don't be a secret agent. Now that applies to any industry. As in photography, if I'm gonna put a business, hey, I'm open for business sign, I need to let people know, hey, I'm a photographer. I'm willing to take photos and accept your hard-earned money on behalf of those photos, and do the best job that I possibly can. And like in your situation, I let people know, hey, I want to be a full-time photographer. And I told them, that's my goal. I want to be a full-time photographer. Everybody knew that I wasn't at the time. But the first clients I had were people really close to me. They're like, hey, I need photos, and you've got a camera. Let's do it. And it's super simple. right?
Yes, absolutely. And when we are starting over, especially with the SOIs, they know that we are not totally pro into it, and they
Right.
know that we are probably their beta testers. So we can't be too greedy about how much we charge for the service,
Oh,
right?
so cheap. I was charging $75 for headshots. I was probably actually worth $25. I was pretty good.
So you are upside down.
Pretty bad at it. But but you're right. But it was so inexpensive because I had to get the experience, right? And then for you, when you were negotiating, you're going to approach that deal differently than you would nowadays.
Yeah.
Because you've got the experience, and you've got not only that, but you've got the apparatus behind you to deliver an even better quality service than you did.
Yes, and of course, in any business, time is money. You have to be really aware of how much time each project is going to consume, and you cannot undercut yourself. But at the same time, when you're starting, first of all, time is on your side. So you have to be willing to spend much more time than any professional would,
yeah.
right? Because you're coming in with less experience. You have to know that it's going to cost you maybe 2x or 3x the amount of time that a normal transaction or a project would cost.
Because you're learning everything, right? Like the
Yeah.
contracts, where how do I process even the payment from the client? Like how does that work? You know,
Yes.
everything.
Everything. So at that point of time, since the time is on your side, it's very important that you put special emphasis on volunteering more of your time, and then use that time to learn, because you are creating a platform for future success. So every experience that you gain with having the first 3 clients is like invaluable.
You know what? I love what you just said, because in photography, there's kind of 2 mindsets, and some people believe that doing what we call trade for print, and it's essentially, let's say that you wanted to get a photo shoot done, and I as a photographer would want to shoot you. We agreed that we're going to trade services. No money's going to change hands. We're just going to donate our time and create something together. And there are some photographers, many of them, who believe in never doing it. And I got to tell you, the way that I grew my business in the beginning was, as often as I could, did photo shoots, no cost. I was doing a trade with somebody to get the experience. How do I even work this gear, this camera, the lighting? How do I communicate with people from behind the camera? And then building a portfolio, right? I didn't have a track record. I needed to create enough photo shoots so I could take that portfolio, my track record, to future clients and say, this is what I can do for you, right? And so for you and your business, there's no difference. It's the same thing. You're building a track record of successes, and you can go to clients and say, okay, now it's a full 3%.
Exactly, and then remember, I started my business about 15 years ago.
Right.
So things were much more different, and then I wouldn't say it was easy, and now versus then.
What was different specifically, do you think? Give me 1 or 2 things that was different.
Because the first thing is, first of all, we have YouTube, right? With YouTube, there is so much of learning that you can do. You can really ramp up much faster than it used to be before. I spent almost $50,000 just going to real estate conferences, learning
Just
about
to
real
learn
estate.
everything? Really?
50,000 back then is probably, with the inflation, it's probably 100,000 of today's money. So I spent so much money traveling, going to conferences and learning stuff from different people.
Right.
So these days with YouTube, you can learn so much. That's a big change. Second thing is, you need to join different Facebook professional groups. Like for every profession you have, there is a Facebook
Yeah,
group.
we've got tons of them for photography.
So for you guys, you have it. For real estate agents, we have it. For loan officers, we have it. So you need to join all the Facebook groups and then just read it like a bookworm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Read it from start to finish, because as soon as you go into a Facebook group, then immediately you are going to have access to the entire library. Especially in Facebook group, you have like documents, you have media. I would just finish off all the videos first,
right,
so that you can watch them and you can understand what's going on. Then I would go to documents and read all the documents. Then I'll come to the posts and then see which one are the most popular posts. So that is also different these days with YouTube. Then Facebook, you can just get so much of experience right away in any business.
Right.
And then the next drill down to that is, you need to get active in those Facebook groups. You need to ask questions, you need to respond based on what you've been learning with YouTube. You should also say that you are new. Then you should volunteer some posts, and also you have to be active. Believe it or not, collaborating with competitors brings you a lot of business. Because I remember many times wherein I have referred business out because of the fact that either that person, the customer who is calling me, doesn't fit my niche.
Okay.
So I refer them out, and then I see in my Facebook group who is either new or who is active or who I feel confident that they can handle this client.
Gotcha.
So that is the way to get your third or fourth client, wherein you have some experience from the first two, and the third and fourth you'll definitely get it from your professional Facebook groups.
So now you are acting as kind of a benefactor to the new people coming in, but as a new business owner, being active on those groups allows you to say, raise your hand and say, hey, I'm new. You guys are established and you've got great businesses and you've got somebody that doesn't fit or point,
Yeah.
or maybe you're just too busy, whatever it might be, hey, I'm available.
I'm available.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it goes back to that secret agent thing where if you don't raise your hand and say, hey, I'm looking for business, no one's going to offer it to you.
Right.
Right? Like once you exhaust, the other thing I learned is that very quickly you exhaust your close family and friends. Like there's only so many photos, so much real estate that mom, brother, sister, uncle, and your close friends can buy from you.
Right.
Right? And then once they do it, they're done. Right?
Yeah, and also see, we are talking about establishing a business, right?
Right.
When you're talking about establishing a business, it's really important to make sure that you have a steady flow of leads. Steady flow of leads is only possible if you treat the business like a business and if you act like a total businessman.
So how do you do that as a brand new, hey, I'm just getting, this is my first 3 months in business. What is the lead and then how do I get those?
Because imagine, put yourself in the shoes of a customer,
Okay.
right? You cannot pretending that you are new, even though if it's your first or second customer.
Right.
Just treat your family or the whoever the first customer is with the same professionalism as if just pretend you've been in the business for many years.
Right.
Because you need to create that kind of environment so that the customer is also comfortable. Remember, every customer has to bring us at least 3 referrals. That's our a bedrock foundation of how we built our real estate business.
Right,
also.
right.
So you have to treat them like that. So that's number one. The second thing that you always have to remember is you have to create processes.
Okay.
Creating the process meaning that you'll have the same predictable experience for every customer.
So what about when you're brand new and you don't have a process yet and you don't know what that experience should be like, right? And maybe you've got your first 3 or 4 clients. Or I would suggest writing down what you're doing.
Documenting,
Right?
100%.
That becomes the bedrock to the process later on down the road. If you're someone like me who is not very strong in that area, I know that's like a super big strength for you. For me, it's not. So I brought on assistants to help me who were strong in that. And I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. Can you help me create a process out of this? And they would basically create a manual of sorts.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I mean, they call them SOPs all the time. From my Intel experience, we know that. So, like you document what you do is documented, and whatever you documented is what you do. You basically have that Bible created with the first 3 clients. You establish that process, and once you have that process, that's exactly why you get referred also.
Right. So this harks back to a concept of paying attention while you're working with those clients, being focused and engaged with them. Sometimes we get so excited. I know that I was so excited in the beginning, but I was also nervous working with my first clients, right? And it can be very easy for somebody who's brand new to overlook that really important step of let me sit down, document what it is I'm doing, and then ask them, what did you think of the service I provided? How did it compare to other people that you've had photo shoots or real estate transactions with? And take all that feedback and refine and modify that process that you're doing.
Continuously. And then in this day and age, reviews are so important.
Oh, it's huge.
If you're brand new, you'll not have reviews. Like for us, if you go on Zillow or even on Google, you'll see like maybe 150 reviews right now. You'll see a lot of positive reviews and all that. So all that started with a 0 at some point of time.
Yeah,
so people who are starting, they have to absolutely think that the reviews are so important. As soon as you get your first 2 or 3 clients, you have to prepare them that they have to give you a review.
Oh, and they're going to be excited because remember, this is mom, this is brother, this is your friend that knows you. They're going to give you that review. And those reviews are going to be a gateway to future clients because people are going to look on there who aren't associated with you, who are not part of that initial sphere of influence, and they're going to say, what do other people say about Kiran and real estate with him? Yeah. And they're going to see the reviews from those few people that you just started off with, and they're like, cool, he's got 5 stars. I'm going to go with him.
Yeah. So it just feels kind of, you might feel that you'll not get any business, or you might feel like you are hitting a dead end.
What happened? So let's talk to somebody who maybe is going through that right now, right? What advice could we maybe give them to help them break past that and get those first few clients? So maybe somebody's been open for business for maybe a few months, maybe longer, and it hasn't really happened for you. Maybe you already exhausted mom and dad, right? What can we do to break through to that next level?
So what I would say is what we shouldn't do. What we should not do is try to reach out to the old friend that you didn't talk to for like 10, 15
That
years.
is so cringe.
And then just call them out of the blue and say, by the way, I'm into this business. Will you give me business? I think that's a big no.
It always feels like, no matter what it is, it feels like they're going to recruit me for some kind of multi-level marketing thing. And I'm like, bro, I'm not interested, right?
Yes, yes.
Because then you realize that they're just looking at you as a paycheck rather than a genuine interaction.
Exactly. So we should not do that. I think I would go back to the initial thing where I said you have to rely on your competitors to get you business.
Okay.
Even if you have started and then suddenly you hit a plateau and you're not growing anymore, so get into these Facebook professional groups and then raise your hand and say, hey, I'm available. I'm not as busy. If you guys need any help, I'm here to help. If you want to refer any business, help me, and so that I can help you. Because there is a lot of established professionals who have so much business that they cannot handle.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, a lot of newbies to think that people who are established in a particular industry might be either arrogant, or they might have the opinion that maybe they'll not share all their secrets or their operating procedures or their marketing plans and all that. So that's all almost like a perception of what newbies have.
Oh man, I think I had that perception. You had a term for people who operate opposite of that.
The opposite. See, the most successful top producers in mortgage and real estate industry, they operate at a level of abundance. I say abundance in the sense that, like, if a newbie approaches me to see how to establish a business, I'm going to open my book and help them.
Right.
And that's how top producers do it. And somebody who's trying to start a business, get their customers, the go-to should be the top producers in the industry. And the way we hinge back to the original comment that we made about Facebook groups, wherein you are active, you volunteer your time, and then you approach the top producers, volunteer to help them, and really help them, and then contribute. At the same time, you build your business, and that's how that's the easiest way to get to 1 to like 100 customers.
Man, you know, that's such a smart idea, because it reminds me of like when I first started, I had this idea that there was like a finite amount of business, and every time I took a piece of business or somebody else took a piece of business, we were all biting from that same pie, and somebody else getting a shoot meant that I didn't get it. They took business from me, right? And then it doesn't work that way. We're all brand new.
It does not.
We were all horrible photographers, and when we all start, we're all bad anyways. So that's such a foolish idea. Your concept of reaching out to the top photographers makes a lot of sense, because my clients today never hire the Shane Baker of my first few months, because I'm a totally different photographer, totally different level now. They wouldn't even look at a photographer operating at the level that I was in the beginning. And when a newbie approaches me and they're like, hey, do you have anybody that might be a good fit for me? The answer might be yes, because sometimes I'll get leads where people aren't a good fit at this point, whatever it might be, and they're not aware of my branding and kind of the level of photography that I shoot, so they just kind of lump me in with everybody else sometimes. And then they'll say, you know what, it's a little bit out of my price range, and I'll say, you know what, that's okay, because I have somebody for you.
Yeah.
And I still want to serve that client. I still want them to get what they need, even though I'm not the right fit for them. I mean, I don't want to help them. And it doesn't mean I don't want to help a new photographer. And sometimes when I can make those connections and put those two people together, it feels really good.
It happens all the time. Yeah. I can tell you that it happened to us many times, wherein we get a customer that we are not really sure if we want to serve them, either because of the outside area, or maybe we feel that we are not a good fit. They don't fit our real definition of our ideal customer. Then we always tend to refer it out. We tend to refer it out to people who are either new or who are very passionate about it, or who have demonstrated. Facebook groups is one of the ways wherein we can really see it.
That's true. That's true. It's a good point, man. Well, as we wrap up this video, any final words for those who are starting brand new, trying to get those first few clients?
First few clients, again, we'll hinge back to the original point. Get on social media, don't be a secret agent. Get onto the Facebook groups, network with your competitors, network in all the Facebook groups, become an active contributor, and that will be the foundation for you.
Very cool. I like it. And I will add, if you're on the creative side, afraid of doing work at no cost, where you're just putting together other creatives and you're doing stuff to build your portfolio, because that work, when you're putting that activity out there, will be seen. People want to hire creatives and business owners busy. They don't want to go to the person who has no business, because if you have no business, it's kind of a red flag.
Yeah,
Right?
You always want to go to the busy guy.
Absolutely. And with that, we'll leave you. Take care, guys.
Thank you.